Hari Om. Canto 1, Golokakhanda. Chapter 1, Description of Sri Krishna's glories. Hari Shri Ganapataye Namaha. Om Shri Krishnaya Paramatmane Namaha. Sage Garga is the great person who performed the naming ceremony of Lord Krishna and his brother Balarama at Gokula. He named them Krishna and Rama. Later, due to Rama's strength, he began to be called as Balarama. In addition to this virtuous act, Sage Garga accomplished another important task. He authored a scripture called as Garga Bhagavatam or Garga Samhita. This book is filled with the sentiment of devotion. In Garga Bhagavata, Krishna's abode is Goloka, which is situated above the Vaikuntha. There, Radha and Krishna reside together as a divine couple, living in love, peace and prosperity. In this Bhagavata, there are 10 cantos. The first canto is called the Golokakhanda. This scripture begins with the invocation and veneration of Naranarayana, Saraswati Devi and the revered sage Vyasa. One day, Sage Garga went to Naimisharanya to meet Sage Shaunaka. Seeing Sage Garga, Shaunaka immediately received him with utmost respect and asked him queries on various incarnations of Lord Krishna. Sage Garga mentioned that discussing and listening to the qualities of the Lord is sacred. He then narrated the story of Bahulashva, a calm and collected king of Mithilapuri who was also a great devotee of Lord Krishna. Once, Sage Narada arrived at Bahulashva's court. After paying respect and receiving Narada properly, Bahulashva asked, "Will Lord Krishna abandon his divine form and take on a human form?" Narada replied, "Although it may seem that the Lord takes incarnations to protect the righteous men, He does not forsake his divine nature or adopt a material form, just as actors appear to enchant their audience. To protect the righteous men, the Lord takes on 6 types of incarnations. They are Amsha Amsha, Amsha, Shakthyavesha, Kala, Purna and Paripurnatama. The incarnation of Sri Krishna is Paripurnatama. Amsha Amsha means a part of a part. Amsha means a part. Shakthyavesha means endowed with power. Kala means a fraction. Purna means complete. And Paripurnatama means absolute perfection. Marichi and others are Amsha Amsha avatars. Kapila and Kurma are Kala avatars. Parashurama is a Shakthyavesha avatar, while Narasimha, Sri Rama, Sri Hari, Sri Mahavishnu, Yajna Narayana and Naranarayana are Purna avatars. Sri Krishna is the Paripurnatama avatar. Lord Krishna, as the ruler of countless universes, resides in Goloka Vrindavan in Vaikuntha. The Amsha Amsha avatars assist Brahma with tasks related to creation. Shakthyavesha avatars are incarnations of the Lord meant to accomplish specific goals. Avatars that incarnate in each era to establish dharma are called Kala avatars. Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna and Aniruddha are known as Chaturvyuha avatars. The Paripurnatama avatar is solely the incarnation of Sri Krishna. The Lord incarnated for a special purpose and also fulfilled many virtuous deeds. Hearing this, the king Bahulashva, with devotion, asked Sage Narada to narrate the many stories of the Lord. Here ends the first chapter of the first canto. Hari Om. Hari Om. Chapter 2. Description of Sri Goloka. The conversation between Bahulashva and Narada continues. Sri Narada said, "Long ago, burdened by the weight of many demons and humans, Bhumi Devi took the form of a cow and sought refuge with Lord Brahma. After listening to her predicament, Brahma consoled Bhumi Devi and went to Vaikuntha along with Shiva and other gods to find a solution. At Vaikuntha, Brahma bowed in front of Lord Vishnu and explained the reason for his visit. Vishnu said, Sri Krishna is the Lord of countless universes. This problem cannot be resolved without him. You must immediately go to his residence." Hearing this, Lord Brahma asked, "We do not know anyone greater than you. If there is such a person, could you show us his abode?" Honoring Brahma's request, Lord Hari showed the way to the abode of Sri Krishna. On the way to see Krishna, Brahma and the gods saw many universes. Amazed by everything that they saw, they travelled beyond thousands of yojanas. Then they came to see 8 cities and above them the banks of the Viraja river. Enjoying the beauty of this region, they reached a city radiating with the brightness of countless suns. When they went forward again, they saw a magnificent radiance. Brahma worshipped that effulgence. There was seen the white-colored and innumerable-faced Adisheshamurti, and on its lap was the Goloka Vrindavan. As the gods started to enter Vrindavan, the gatekeepers stopped them. When they informed that Vishnu, Shiva and Brahma, along with other gods, had come to see Lord Krishna, those gatekeepers asked them from which universe they were coming. As the gods stood without an answer to that question, Lord Vishnu said, "We come from the universe where the incarnations of Vamana and Prashnigarbha occurred." Then they were admitted inside with the permission of a woman named Shatachandranana, who was a friend of Lord Krishna. Thus, they could see Golokakhanda. There, they saw the beautiful Vrindavan, the Yamuna river, and Govardhana Mount, which is the king of mountains. They observed numerous cows, calves, beautiful trees, blooming flowers, bees buzzing around, and gopas holding flutes. Astonished by these delightful sights, the deities were filled with wonder. Afterwards, they entered a divine grove located there. In that grove, they beheld a lotus with 1,000 petals, topped by ones with 16 petals, and above them were the ones with 8 petals, all surmounted by a magnificent throne crafted from Kaustubha gems. The gods saw Lord Krishna sitting on that throne along with Sri Radhika Devi. Surrounded by gopis and gopas, he was sitting there holding a flute in his right hand and smiling gently. Overwhelmed with joy at this sight, the gods were completely immersed in bliss. Subsequently, all the deities humbly worshipped and bowed down to Lord Sri Krishna. Here ends the second chapter of the first canto. Hari Om. Hari Om. Chapter 3. All Purna avatars merge into Lord Krishna. The decision of the Lord's incarnation. The conversation between Bahulashva and Narada continues. Bahulashva asked, O sage Narada, what did the gods do after having the vision of Lord Krishna? Please tell me. Sage Narada said, Lord Hari merged into Lord Sri Krishna in front of everyone. Then Narasimha appeared there and integrated with Krishna. Later, Lord Mahavishnu along with Goddess Lakshmi manifested there and merged into Sri Krishna. After that, Lord Sri Rama appeared there along with Sita Devi and his brothers Bharata, Lakshmana and Shatrughna. Accompanied by numerous Vanaras, he also amalgamated with Lord Sri Krishna. Later, Naranarayana arrived there. As everyone watched, they too got integrated into Sri Krishna. Seeing all this, the gods were astonished. Then they realized that Lord Sri Krishna is Paripurnatama, which is the supreme and complete incarnation. Thus, they worshipped the Lord with devotion and requested him to provide a solution to their sorrow. After hearing this request, Lord Krishna spoke. He said that he would incarnate in the Yadu dynasty to relieve the burden of the earth. Along with this, he instructed the gods and goddesses to incarnate on earth according to his instructions. When Lord Krishna said this, Radha Devi, realizing that she would have to be separated from her beloved, became sorrowful. Radha said to the Lord, O beloved, after you leave, I will not be able to live here alone. If you leave me and go, my body will disintegrate into a powder, like the ashes of camphor. Hearing Radha's words, Lord Krishna said, Don't be sad, Radha. When I go to earth, I will take you along with me. There, all your desires will be fulfilled. When Radha said that she would not find happiness in a place without Vrindavan, Yamuna and Govardhan mountain, Lord Krishna sent 84 divine koshas of land along with Govardhan mountain and the Yamuna river from his abode to earth for the sake of Radha Devi. At that moment, after praising the Lord, Brahma asked, In which households will I, you and the other gods be born, and by what names will we be known? Sri Krishna replied, I will incarnate as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki. Shesha, who is a fraction of me, will incarnate in the womb of Rohini. Goddess Lakshmi will be born as the daughter of King Bhishmaka and will be known as Rukmini. Parvati will be born as Jampavati. Yajna Narayana's wife Dakshina will be born there as Lakshmana. Viraja will be known as Kalindi on earth. Goddess Lajja will be born as Bhadra. Ganga will be Mitravinda on earth. Kamadeva will be born as Pradyumna. Lord Brahma, after taking birth as the son of Pradyumna, will be known as Aniruddha. The Vasu named Drona will take birth as Nanda in Vrindavan. Drona's wife Dhara will be known as Yashoda. Suchandra will incarnate as Vrishabhanu and Kalavati will incarnate as Kirti. Radha will be born as their daughter. Here concludes Chapter 3 of First Canto. Hari Om. Hari Om. Chapter 4. Features of the cowherd chiefs and the Gopikas. The conversation between Lord Krishna and the gods continues. Sri Krishna said, "My friends Sri Daman and Subalan will be born in the houses of Nanda and Upananda. Stoka, Krishna, Arjuna and Amshu will be born in the houses of the 9 Nandas. My friends Vishalan, Rishabhan, Tejasvi, Devaprasthan and Varudhapan will be born in the houses of the 6 Vrishabhanus." Brahma asked, "Can you describe the characteristics and positions of Nanda, Upananda and Vrishabhanu?" Lord Krishna replied, "They are cowherd chiefs. Day and night they take care of the cows in the cowherd villages. I will describe them to you if you will listen. Nanda owns 9 lakh cows. Upananda has 5 lakh cows. In the house of Nanda Raja, there are more than 1 crore cows. Vrishabhanu is the lord of more than 50 lakh cows. In Vraja, only Suchandra and Drona are worthy of the name Vrishabhanu. These 2 cowherd kings are endowed with all the virtues." Brahma asked, "Lord, please fully describe the groups of Gopikas." Sri Krishna replied, "Some of the Gopikas living in Gokula are gatekeepers. Some reside near the Govardhan mountain, while others live near the banks of the Yamuna and some near the Ganga. Others dwell in the forests of my Vraja. Among these Gopikas, some protect the forest of Vrindavan. Some adorn the gardens and the others prepare sleeping chambers. Madhumadhavi, Viraja, Lalita, Vishakha, Rama and Maya each lead different Gopika groups. In Vraja, there are also groups of 8, 16 and 32 Gopikas. Some Gopikas were previously women of Mithila. Some were women of Ayodhya and some were the wives of great sages. In the past eras, having received my blessings, they transformed into various groups of beautiful Gopikas in Vraja." Lord Brahma asked, "How did they transform into Gopikas in Vraja? Lord, what virtuous deeds or blessings are the reason for them attaining this position, which even great yogis do not obtain?" Lord Krishna said, "When the Gopikas prayed to Sri Hari with eloquent and sweet words, the Lord was pleased. Sri Hari asked them, 'I am pleased with your prayers. What blessing do you desire?' The Gopikas said, 'Since the Lord is beyond our intellect, we cannot fully comprehend you. If you wish to bestow a blessing upon us, please show us your purely blissful form as described by the scholars in the Puranas." Upon hearing this, Sri Hari showed them the Goloka Vrindavan. Decay or death do not exist there, only pure bliss. In that beautiful Vrindavan, they saw Gopikas dancing ecstatically, and amidst them the resplendent Sri Krishna himself. After revealing this, the Lord asked, "What shall I do for you now?" Having seen the beauty of Lord Krishna, the ladies expressed their desire to join him. Hearing this, Lord Hari said, "You will become Gopikas in my Vraja, and then I will become your beloved." Thereafter, Lord Krishna explained about the other Gopikas to Brahma. To protect his devotees and to slay the demons, the Lord incarnated as Dasharatha's son Sri Ramachandra during the Treta Yuga. Lotus-eyed Rama went to Sita's Swayamvara, broke an indestructible bow, and afterwards married the daughter of Janaka. When the women of Mithila saw Rama, they approached the Lord and said, "O Lord, the best of the Raghu dynasty, please be our husband." Then Rama said to them, "O women, do not be discontent. At the end of the Dwapara Yuga, I will fulfill your desire. If you undertake pilgrimages with devotion and perform charity, you will become Gopikas in my Vraja." After granting them this blessing, Sri Rama returned to Ayodhya. When Rama arrived with Sita and his army, the women of Ayodhya were obsessed upon seeing him. They took vows and performed penance on the banks of the Sarayu river to attain Rama. A voice from the sky then told them, "At the end of the Dwapara Yuga, in the forest on the banks of the Yamuna, your desire will be fulfilled." To honor his father's word, when Rama went to the Dandhaga forest accompanied by Sita and Lakshmana, even the great sages who were fortunate to see the Lord during that exile felt a love similar to that within Sita for the Lord. Rama blessed them, promising that he would fulfill all their desires on the banks of the Yamuna in Vrindavan during the Dwapara Yuga. Rama abandoned Sita towards the end of his life. Then, during the yajnas that followed, there were golden statues of Sita used by the Lord to perform the ceremonies. Thus, in Ayodhya, there was a collection of yajna Sitas. After the golden statues were brought to life, all of them requested Sri Rama to accept them. However, as he was committed to being faithful to one wife, he said he could not accept them and blessed them that their desires would be fulfilled in Vrindavan during the Dwapara Yuga. With this, the 4th chapter of the 1st canto concludes. Hari Om. Hari Om. Chapter 5. Various women arrive in Vrindavan and transform into Gopikas. The conversation between Bahulashva and Narada continues. Sri Narada said, Lord Krishna told Brahma that many women arrived in Vrindavan and transformed into Gopikas. Some of the companions of Mahalakshmi from Vaikuntha became Gopikas. There were goddesses from the higher realms of Vaikuntha and companions of Lakshmi who arose from the Kshira Sagara. Additionally, there were divine women who became overwhelmed with love upon seeing Yajna Narayana. Some plants that donned female form became distressed after Dhanvantari's disappearance. They performed penance to become Gopikas. Apart from that, there were maidens in the sea who became infatuated upon seeing the Matsya avatar of the Lord. There were women who were attracted to King Prithu and Apsaras who desired the Naranarayanas. Along with them, women from Sutala who wished to have Vamana as their lover and Naga Kanyakas who became enchanted by the Shesha avatar were all blessed that their desires will be fulfilled in Vrindavan at the end of Dwapara Yuga. Later, Lord Krishna revealed to Lord Brahma that each of these beings would reincarnate on earth under different names when he incarnates on earth. Kashyapa will become Vasudeva, Aditi will become Devaki, The Vasu named Prana will become Shurasena, who is the father of Vasudeva. The Vasu named Dhruva will become Devaka. Daksha Prajapati will become Akrura. A Vasu named Vasu will be born as Uddhava. From Kubera will come Hridika. From Varuna will come Kritavarma. From the Marut gods will come Ugrasena. Ambarisha will become Yuyudhana. Prahlada will become Satyaki. The Kshira Sagara will become Shantanu. The Vasu named Drona will become Bhishma. Divodasa will become Shalya. Bhaga will become Dhritarashtra. And Pusha will become Pandhu. Dharmaraja will become Yudhishthira. Vayudeva will become Bhima. From Indra will come Arjuna, and from Shatarupa will come Subhadra. Surya Narayana will become Karna. The Ashwini Devas will become Nakula and Sahadeva, and Dhada will be born as Blahika. From Agni Deva will come Drona. From a part of Kali will come Duryodhana. From Chandra will come Abhimanyu, and from Shiva will come Ashwathama. The wives from the Lord's previous incarnations will be among his 16,108 wives in this incarnation. After saying this to Brahma, the Lord instructed Yogamaya to transfer the seventh pregnancy of Devaki to the womb of Rohini, who is the wife of Vasudeva, and at the same time to enter the womb of Yashoda, who is the wife of Nanda. Hearing this, Brahma, along with the other gods, bowed to Lord Krishna and consoled Bhumi Devi and returned to their abodes. With this, the fifth chapter of the first canto concludes. Hari Om. Hari Om. Chapter 6. The Mighty Deeds of Kamsa. The conversation between Bahulashva and Narada continues. Sri Bahulashva asked, "Who was this mighty Kamsa? O sage Narada, please narrate the stories of his birth and his deeds." Sri Narada replied, "After the churning of the ocean in the battle between gods and demons, Lord Vishnu killed the demon Kalanemi. However, Shukracharya revived the demon Kalanemi and brought him back to life. Desiring to fight Lord Vishnu again, Kalanemi performed severe penance on the Mandhara mountain to Lord Brahma. After many years, pleased by Kalanemi's severe penance, Brahma appeared and allowed him to ask for a boon. Then Kalanemi said, "Please grant me a boon that my death may not be caused by any gods other than Lord Vishnu, who is the Lord of the universe." Sri Brahma granted Kalanemi a boon as he desired. Narada added, "That demon was reborn as Ugrasena and his wife's child, Kamsa. Even as a boy, he would regularly fight with accomplished wrestlers. Meanwhile, desiring to conquer the world, King Jarasandha of Magadha established his royal camps at various places on the banks of the Yamuna. Then, a powerful elephant named Kuvalayapitha was enraged. It broke its chains and ran from the royal camp into Kamsa's arena. When the wrestlers saw the elephant, they immediately fled in fear. As the elephant approached, Kamsa grabbed its trunk and threw it to the ground. Kamsa then caught the elephant again and hurled it towards the army of Jarasandha far away. Seeing this remarkable display of strength, the king of Magadha was so pleased that he decided to give away his two daughters, Asti and Prapti, along with the elephant Kuvalayapitha to Kamsa. As a wedding gift, Jarasandha also gave them 100 million horses, 100,000 elephants, 300,000 chariots, and 10,000 servants. Later, Kamsa, proud of his own strength and eager for battle, went alone to the city of Mahishmati. The sons of the king of Mahishmati, Chanura, Mushtika, Kuda, Shala, and Toshala, were excellent wrestlers who could skillfully defeat their opponents in a fight. Kamsa calmly said to them, "Let's have a wrestling match, and if you win, I will become your servant. Or if I win, I will make all of you my servants." They agreed. Then Kamsa fought with them. When Chanura charged at him, Kamsa shouted and threw him to the ground. As Mushtiga rushed forward, Kamsa punched him down to the ground. When Kuda came to attack, Kamsa knocked him down and grabbed his legs and threw him into the sky. As Shala rushed towards him with flailing arms, Kamsa grabbed one arm and violently dragged him to the ground. Then Kamsa struck Toshala and threw him to the ground. Afterward, having made all of them his servants, Kamsa went with them to the city of Pravarshanapuri. There, Kamsa fought relentlessly for 20 days with a powerful monkey named Dvivida. Dvivida uprooted a mountain and hurled it at Kamsa's head. Kamsa also grabbed a mountain and threw it back at Dvivida, then struck him, rendering him unconscious. Weakened, with his bones broken, Dvivida became a servant to Kamsa. From there, Kamsa went to Rishimuga forest. There was a great demon named Keshi who is in the form of a horse. Kamsa, after demonstrating his strength by conquering Keshi, went to Mount Mahendra. On that mountain, when Kamsa saw Parashurama shining like the sun, he bowed his head and fell at the sage's feet. Seeing this, Parashurama said to Kamsa, "You are a simpleton like a mosquito. You are a wicked Kshatriya who falsely prides himself on his strength. Today I will kill you. This great bow beside me is very heavy." During the battle with Tripurasura, Lord Vishnu gave this bow to Shiva. Later I obtained it from Lord Shiva for the destruction of the Kshatriyas. Parashurama then said to Kamsa, "If you can string this bow, I will be pleased. Otherwise, I will destroy your strength." Hearing these words, Kamsa easily strung the bow. Then, placing the bow back in its place, he bowed to Parashurama. Kamsa said, "O Lord, I am not a Kshatriya, I am a demon, and I am your servant. O Supreme Being, please protect me." Hearing this, Parashurama was pleased and gave the bow to Kamsa. Sri Parashurama said, "The one who breaks this bow of Mahavishnu will kill you." After some days, Kamsa saw a demon named Aghasura on the seashore. Aghasura had the body of a serpent. When the serpent approached and bit Kamsa, the fearless Kamsa jumped on it and strangled its neck into a garland-like form. In the eastern region, a great bull demon named Arishta fought with Kamsa. Arishta lifted a mountain on his horns and hurled it at Kamsa. In response, Kamsa also picked up a mountain and threw it back at Arishta. With a single blow, Kamsa defeated Arishta. After his victory, Kamsa headed north. There, he said to Narakasura, who is the very powerful king of Pragjodisha city and son of Bhudevi, "O king of demons, engage in battle with me. If you win, I will become your servant. But if I win, I will make you my servant." As per Narakasura's command, first a demon named Pralambasura fought with Kamsa. Kamsa wrestled and defeated him. Then a demon named Dhenukasura came and grabbed Kamsa. Kamsa angrily threw him away, jumped on him and knocked him to the ground. Subsequently, following Narakasura's order, a demon named Trinavarta took Kamsa into the sky and battled him there. With immense strength, Kamsa pulled Trinavarta down from the sky to the earth, causing him to vomit blood out of his mouth. When a demon named Bagasura, in the form of a crane, tried to swallow Kamsa with his beak, Kamsa struck him down with a lightning-fast blow. Bagasura immediately spat Kamsa out. Then, Bagasura's sister named Putana expressed her desire to fight with Kamsa. Kamsa smiled and said to her, "O Putana, listen to my words. I will never fight with a woman. Though I defeated Bagasura in battle, I consider him as my brother. Therefore, you should also be my sister." With this, the 6th chapter concludes. Hari Om. Hari Om. Chapter 7, Kamsa's Great Conquest. The conversation between Bahulashva and Narada continues. Sage Narada said, "With the support of Pralambasura and the other demons Kamsa had previously defeated, he prepared for a battle against Shambarasura. Although Shambarasura was very powerful, instead of fighting against Kamsa and his allies, he chose to form a friendship with them. On the Trikuta mountain, a powerful demon named Vyomasura was sleeping. When Kamsa woke him with a kick, Vyomasura turned red with anger. Kamsa, with a powerful punch, subdued Vyomasura and made him his servant. Narada continued, "After that, following my suggestion, Kamsa went to the city of Shonita to fight with the demon Banasura. Hearing Kamsa's war cry, the mighty Banasura became extremely furious. He stomped on the ground and let out a thunderous roar. With that stomp, Banasura's foot reached the underworld. A distraught Banasura pleaded to Kamsa, "Please pull me back up from the underworld." Hearing his words, Kamsa, with arrogance, grabbed Banasura with both hands and lifted him up to the earth. Seeing Banasura's immense enthusiasm for battle, Lord Shiva appeared there and spoke to Banasura, who is the son of King Bali. No one in the world can defeat Kamsa except Lord Krishna. After hearing these words from Lord Shiva, Banasura became an ally of Kamsa. Hearing about a powerful demon in the form of a bull named Vatsatsura, who lived in the west, Kamsa went to battle him. Kamsa grabbed Vatsasura, the bull demon, by the tail and threw him to the ground, thus bringing him under his control. Then Kamsa proceeded to the land of the Mlechas or barbarians. There, a demon named Kalayavana, who had a red beard, picked up a mace and fought with Kamsa. Kamsa took his own heavier mace and hurled it at Kalayavana and roared like a lion. When Kalayavana's army rained arrows upon him, Kamsa used his mace to strike down not only the arrows but also the army's elephants, horses, chariots, and warriors. Seeing this, Kalayavana's army fled from the battlefield. Being knowledgeable about the rules of war, Kamsa did not attack the retreating soldiers. Later, the arrogant Kamsa went to Amaravati to conquer the gods. With the help of demons like Chanura, Mushtika, Arishta, Shala, Toshala, Keshi, Pralamba, Bhaga, Dvivida, Trinavarta, Agha, Kuda, Naragasura, Banasura, Shambarasura, Vyoma, Thenuka and Vatsasura, Kamsa set out to conquer the city of Amaravati. Seeing the demons approaching under Kamsa's leadership, Indra, the king of the gods, became enraged. To defend against them, Indra assembled a large army. They fought a fierce and tumultuous battle. Riding his chariot, King Indra, with 100 streams of lightning flashing around him, hurled his powerful Vajra, thunderbolt weapon, at Kamsa. The mighty demon Kamsa struck Indra's Vajra weapon with his mace. Its lightning currents crumbled and fell. Abandoning the Vajra weapon, Indra took a sword and struck Kamsa on the head in anger. However, Kamsa stood unharmed, like an elephant struck with a flower garland. Then, Kamsa lifted a large and heavy mace made of 8 metals and struck Indra on the shoulder. Due to that blow, Indra, the king of the gods and the enemy of the demons, fell. At that moment, the Marudganas or the wind deities all joined together and surrounded Kamsa with a barrage of weapons made with eagle feathers. The powerful Banasura defended those arrows with his 1,000 arms. Like a group of elephants surrounding a mountain, the Vasus and other gods encircled Banasura and attacked him with various weapons. Then, with the help of Pralamba and other demons, Naragasura came and launched a counter-attack against the gods which terrified them. Furious at this sight, Indra mounted his elephant Airavata and charged at Kamsa to attack. But Kamsa leapt up and struck the elephant down. Then, on the battlefield, he also struck Indra and brought him down. When Airavata, the king of elephants, got up and approached Kamsa to attack with its tusks, Kamsa grabbed its trunk and threw it far away. With that, Airavata fled from the battlefield. At this moment, Kamsa took the bow gifted to him by Parashurama and wielded it. Seeing this, the gods retreated. Thus, in the Deva-Asura war, Kamsa defeated the gods and returned to Mathura with Indra's throne. Thus concludes chapter 7. Hari Om. Hari Om. Chapter 8. The incarnation of Radha Devi. The conversation between Bahulashva and Narada continues. With anticipation, Bahulashva asked the great sage, "You brought prosperity to me and my family by describing the holy glories of Lord Hari. What did Sri Krishna do when he went to Vraja with Radha Devi?" Sri Narada replied, "Sri Bahulashva, you are so fortunate that you were born in the family of King Nimi, who is one of the greatest devotees of Lord Krishna. Please listen to the sacred Leelas of the Supreme Soul. Lord Krishna incarnated not only to kill Kamsa, but also to protect his devotees. Lord Krishna placed his beloved Radha in the womb of Kirti, who was the wife of King Vrishabhanu. Thus, Sri Radha was born in a grand palace on the banks of the Yamuna river. Radha took birth on the 8th day of the Bhadra month, on a Monday at noon when the sky was overcast. To celebrate Radha's incarnation, the gods scattered flowers in the Nandana gardens. There was great auspiciousness everywhere. Rivers and lakes were filled with fresh and pure water. Kirti was delighted to see her beautiful baby daughter, who was resplendent like 100 moons. For prosperity, she donated 200,000 cows to the Brahmins. That child grew up like the waxing moon. Sri Bahulashva asked, "What good deeds did Vrishabhanu and Kirti do in their previous lives as Suchandra and Kalavati in order to get Radha as their daughter? Even some gods are not this fortunate." Sri Narada replied, "Suchandra was the highly fortunate son of King Nriga. During ancient times, 3 beautiful mind-born daughters or Manasputris were born to Aryama. They were named Kalavati, Ratnamala and Menaka. Kalavati was married to Suchandra. Ratnamala was married to the king of Videha and Menaka married Himavan. Sita was born as the daughter of Ratnamala and Parvati was born as the daughter of Menaka. Suchandra, along with Kalavati, performed penance to Lord Brahma for 12 years in a forest by the banks of Gomati river. After Brahma appeared, Suchandra asked for the boon of attaining liberation. However, when Kalavati was worried about her fate if her husband attained liberation, Brahma advised her to accompany her husband to heaven. Brahma blessed that in the course of time, Kalavati would be born in between the rivers of Ganga and Yamuna and would get a daughter who would become the dearly beloved of Sri Krishna, known as Radha. As a result of Brahma's boon, Suchandra was born as Vrishabhanu and Kalavati as Kirti on earth. They both retained the memories of their previous lives. Therefore, they recognized each other and got married. Thus, by the grace of Brahma, Radha Devi incarnated as their daughter. Here concludes the 8th chapter of 1st Canto. Hari Om. Hari Om. Chapter 9, Vasudeva and Devaki's Wedding. The conversation between Bahulashva and Narada continues. Sri Narada said, "One day, Sage Garga, the great guru and scholar of the Yadu dynasty, following his own desire, went to the beautiful palace of Emperor Ugrasena in the city of Mathura. There, in the royal assembly, Sage Garga saw Akrura, Devaka and Kamsa along with Ugrasena. At that time, Emperor Ugrasena was sitting on the magnificent throne of Indra. Upon seeing the sage, the king immediately rose from his seat, respectfully bowed and seated the sage on the throne. Other Yadavas also paid their respects. Sage Garga blessed Ugrasena and inquired about the welfare of the emperor and his companions. Later, Garga said to the mighty and wise Sri Devaka, "After much contemplation, I know there is no better king in this world than Vasudeva. Therefore, King Devaka, give your daughter Devaki in marriage to Vasudeva." King Devaka showed his assent to Sage Garga's desire by offering him betel leaves and betel nuts. Sri Devaka then performed the auspicious ceremonies to give away his daughter in marriage to Vasudeva. As wedding presents, King Devaka gave his daughter 1,000 maids, 10,000 elephants, 1,000,000 horses, 100,000 chariots, and 200,000 cows. When the wedding ceremony was over, Vasudeva, along with Devaki, boarded a beautifully decorated chariot drawn by many horses. To please his sister, Kamsa took the reins of the horses and drove the chariot. At that moment, a voice from the sky said to Kamsa, "You are a fool. You do not know that Devaki's 8th son is going to kill you." After hearing this, the evil and merciless Kamsa threw his sister from the chariot to the ground. He grabbed her hair and took a sharp sword to kill her. Seeing all this, the people were stunned and the musicians put down their instruments. While everyone trembled with fear, Vasudeva pleaded with Kamsa. Sri Vasudeva said, "O great king of Bhoja dynasty, even though Jarasandha, Bakasura, Vatsasura and Banasura all came to fight with you, they ended up praising your virtues. But why are you now trying to kill your own sister with a sword? When Putana came to fight you, you did not fight back with her because she is a woman and that was the appropriate code of conduct. Instead, you treated her like a sister. But Devaki is your own sister. Why do you then wish to treat Devaki like this? On this festive day of marriage, you should show mercy to your young sister." Despite the pleas, the wicked Kamsa did not back down. Then Vasudeva said to Kamsa, "You have no reason to fear Devaki. I will surrender each son she gives birth to. Therefore, please do spare her life." Convinced by these words, Kamsa withdrew from the assassination attempt and went to his home. Vasudeva went to their home with Devaki. Here ends the 9th chapter of the first canto. Hari Om. Hari Om. Chapter 10, Birth of Lord Balarama. The conversation between Bahulashvan and Narada continues. Sri Narada said, Kamsa had stationed 10,000 armed soldiers around Vasudeva's palace. Devaki gave birth to a male child for the first time. Vasudeva took the boy named Kirtiman to Kamsa's congregation. There, the child was offered to Kamsa. However, seeing Vasudeva's honesty, Kamsa was pleased. Kamsa said to Vasudeva, "Take this child and go back. I am not afraid of him, but I will kill your 8th son." After saying this, Vasudeva returned home happily with his son. Later, I went to Kamsa's palace. Kamsa bowed before me and then asked about the plans of the gods. I said to Kamsa, "O King of Kings, all the Vasus and Suras have been born on earth as Yadavas. The calculations of the gods are different. Therefore, it is not easy to determine who is the 8th son. Any one of them could be the one to kill you. That is the deceit of the gods." Sri Narada said, After I left Kamsa's palace, when Kamsa learned about the plan of the gods to kill the demons, he became filled with anger and decided to kill all the Yadavas. Kamsa mercilessly killed all the children born to Devaki by smashing them on a stone. Afterwards, Kamsa bound Vasudeva and Devaki in chains. Seeing this, Ugrasena, the emperor of the Yadavas, was filled with anger and tried to stop Kamsa. The soldiers of Ugrasena tried to protect Vasudeva and Devaki with their swords. Kamsa's soldiers fought with them. In their sword attack, 10,000 soldiers died. Then Kamsa took his club and destroyed his father's army. By the blow of Kamsa's club, the soldiers' limbs were broken. Many soldiers vomited blood, fell unconscious, and died. Blinded by anger, Kamsa then bound his father Ugrasena with chains and imprisoned him. After that, Kamsa took over the governance of the kingdom. Due to Kamsa's harassment, all the Yadavas fled. Kamsa killed all the 6 children of Devaki. Yogamaya transferred Devaki's 7th pregnancy to Rohini's womb. Later, after 5 days in the month of Bhadra, on the 6th day of the bright fortnight, in the house of Nandagopa, the Supreme Soul was born to Rohini, who is the wife of Vasudeva. The gods showered flowers. Nandagopan performed the birth rituals for the child and donated 10 million cows to the Brahmins. Subsequently, he celebrated a very auspicious festival. When Devala, Devaratha, Vashishta, Brihaspati, and Maharshi Vyasa arrived, Nandagopan washed their feet and worshipped them. Vyasa Maharshi was pleased with this and said, "Nanda, you are immensely fortunate. This child is indeed the eternal Anandashesha." Gazing at the child with wonder, Vyasa Maharshi bowed down and said, "O Master of the gods, O Lord who fulfills desires, I offer my obeisances to you. Please protect this earth filled with the wicked." After that, everyone praised the child. Here ends the 10th chapter of the first Canto. Hari Om. Hari Om. Chapter 11. Birth of Lord Sri Krishna. The conversation between Bahulashva and Narada continues. Sri Narada said, "The Supreme Lord Sri Krishna entered the heart of Vasudeva. Vasudeva gleamed with great brilliance. Afterwards, when the Lord entered Devaki, Devaki glowed like goddess Lakshmi. Seeing the serenity of Devaki, Kamsa trembled with fear for Lord Hari and said, "My enemy has come. I will kill him as soon as he is born." Later, the gods and the great sages led by Brahma bowed down before the Lord who was in the womb of Devaki. They offered numerous prayers and went to their own abodes. At the time of Sri Krishna's birth, stars shone brightly. The rivers, streams, and lakes were filled with pure water. With the touch of the wind spreading fragrant pollen, lotuses with 1,000 petals and 100 leaves bloomed everywhere. The cities and villages were auspicious. The gods, the people, trees and cows were all joyful. There was great auspiciousness everywhere. The Vidyadharas and Gandharvas sang with joy and danced happily. The gods offered prayers to the Supreme Lord Sri Hari and scattered fragrant flowers like Parijata, Mandara, and Malati. The clouds thundered and poured rain. Then, on the Ashtami Tithi of Krishna Paksha in the month of Bhadra, when Mercury, Taurus, and Rohini stars were on the horizon, and the planets were in Harshana Yoga, at midnight, when everything was covered with darkness and as the moon was rising, Lord Sri Krishna Bhagavan was born to Devaki in Vasudeva's palace, just as the Yajnagni originates from Arani wood. Adorned with a unique necklace around his neck, the Kaustubha gem on his chest, anklets on his legs, ornaments on his arms, a crown on his head, earrings on his ears, bracelets, and a yellow silk around his waist, and also with his dark, cloud-like complexion, the Lord gleamed supremely. Seeing his wonderful son, Vasudeva was full of joy and pledged to offer 100,000 cows to the Brahmins. In amazement, he folded his hands and praised the Lord. Realizing that it was actually Lord Krishna who appeared in her house, Devaki also praised the Lord and prayed to save him from the hands of Kamsa. Pleased by the praises of his parents, Lord Sri Krishna smiled at Vasudeva and Devaki and said, "In a previous life, Devaki was Prisni who worshipped her husband like a god, and Vasudeva was Sutapas. For the sake of having a child, both of you undertook great austerities, forsaking food and water at the behest of Brahma. Your penance for obtaining an offspring continued even as a long time passed. Pleased with this, I asked you to wish for a boon. The both of you wished for me to be born as your son. Afterwards, you became Prajapati couple. Then I was born as your son in the name of Prisnigarbha. Later, I was born as your son again, that time as Vamana, the younger brother of Indra. Now I have been born as your son once more. Take me to the palace of Nandagopa. Then take Nandagopa's daughter and bring her here. There is no need to fear Kamsa afterwards." As soon as he finished saying this, Lord Hari reappeared again as an infant. As Vasudeva was about to depart after placing the infant in a cradle, goddess Yogamaya was born to Yashoda and Nandagopa. Later, goddess Yogamaya made the guards fall asleep. She unfastened the chains and opened all the doors. Then Vasudeva left with Lord Krishna by carrying the baby on his head. As the clouds were pouring down, Ananta Shesha with 1,000 heads provided protection from the torrents of rain. The Yamuna river split in half to give a path for Vasudeva to pass. Exhausted Yashoda slept in bed without knowing whether she had given birth to a boy or a girl. After reaching Nandagopa's house, Vasudeva placed Lord Sri Krishna in Yashoda's bed. Since everyone there was asleep, Vasudeva then took the infant Yogamaya and returned from there. Hearing the cries of the baby lying next to Devaki, the guards woke up. They quickly went to the palace to inform Kamsa of the matter. Knowing this, Kamsa immediately went to Devaki to see the child in fear. Upon seeing Kamsa, Devaki pleaded with him and said, "All my sons are dead. Brother, it is not fitting for you to kill a girl child." Not paying attention to Devaki's pleas, Kamsa caught the baby by her legs and threw her against a stone. From Kamsa's hand, the girl flew into the sky. Suddenly, the child transformed into a goddess sitting on a splendid chariot. Adorned with divine weapons and 8 arms and radiant with divine splendor, the goddess spoke in a voice as deep and resonant as thunder. "Evil Kamsa, Sri Krishna has already incarnated elsewhere to kill you. There is no need to torment Devaki in vain." Having spoken thus, goddess Yogamaya left to the Vindhya mountains. There, the goddess lived, renowned under many names. Next morning itself, Kamsa called demons like Pralamba and others and informed them about what Yogamaya had said. Realizing that his destroyer had been born on earth, Kamsa ordered them to kill all the infants born within the last 10 days. Kamsa also ordered to torture Brahmins. Here ends the 11th chapter of the first canto. Hari Om. Hari Om. Chapter 12. Description of Sri Nanda's festival. Filled with joy at his son's birth, Nanda, at dawn itself, called upon the Brahmins to conduct auspicious ceremonies. When the child's birth rituals and other special prayers were performed, the generous-hearted Nandagopa with happiness gave 100,000 cows to the Brahmins as dakshina. Along with that, Nandagopa gave jewels, gold and grains to the Brahmins. Singers walked around singing melodious songs. The Varanganas danced. Decorated with beautiful and colorful flags and golden pots, Sri Nanda's home was magnificent. The main roads, footpaths, entranceways, walls, courtyards, platforms and pavilions shined and was filled with the fragrance of flowers and holy water. The cows were decorated with red cloths. Golden bells were hung around their necks and horns. Their tails were of a yellow color. The bulls were also decorated with peacock feathers. Hearing about the festivities, King Vrishabhanu and Kalavati arrived there on a decorated elephant. Many Gopas also came with various gifts. They spoke passionately about the birth festival. Hearing this, Nandan's eyes filled with tears of joy. Nandagopa honored everyone with tilak and other gifts. One of the Gopas said, "O Nanda, for an innocent man who desires a son, what can be greater than the festival of his son's birth? After many days, fate has shown us this day. We are very happy to see you cuddling the child on your lap." Nandagopa was pleased to hear this and said, "Your virtuous blessings make me very happy." Hearing about the birth festival, the Gopikas rushed to Nanda's house with gifts. After handing over their gifts to Yashoda, one of the Gopikas said to her, "O Yashoda, you are very fortunate to have given birth to such a son. After a long time, the Lord has fulfilled your desire. May the Lord bless this lotus-eyed, sweet-smiling boy." Yashoda was pleased to hear this and said, "Your kind blessings bring me great happiness." The Gopikas also praised Rohini Devi. Yashoda and Rohini performed many acts of charity. Then, led by the great sages including Sanat Kumaran, Kapilan, Shukadevan, Vyasan and Dattan, Brahmadeva rode on a swan to the place. Lord Shiva went there on a bullock. Suryadeva mounted on a chariot, Indra on Airavata, Vayudeva on a Khanjana bird, Yamarajan on a buffalo, Kubera mounted on Pushpaka Vimana, Chandradeva mounted on a deer, all set off to that place. Along with them, Agni Deva, Varun Deva, Kartikeya, Saraswati, Lakshmi and Durga also went there. Everyone felt fulfilled and relieved to see the Lord in his infant form, and then went back to their respective places. Here ends the 12th chapter of the first canto. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Chapter 13. The Liberation of Putana. The conversation between Bahulashva and Narada continues. Sri Narada said, Nanda went to Mathura to pay taxes to the king, inquire about Vasudeva's welfare and also to inform Vasudeva about his son's birth. Meanwhile, the demoness Putana, sent by Kamsa, wandered through cities and villages and killed all the newly born infants. Having learned about the birth festival at Nanda's house, Putana went there. The demoness who came to Gokula filled with Gopas and Gopikas assumed the form of a beautiful 16-year-old girl. Since she was extremely beautiful, no one doubted the demoness. Ignoring Rohini and Yashoda, she placed the infant on her lap and fondled him. Then she took out her breasts coated with deadly poison and offered her breast milk to the infant. The infant, who in his divine form drank her life breath along with the breast milk. With her breasts filled with pain and screaming, "Let go, let go!" she ran outside with the infant. She lost her magical form and turned into a terribly fearsome demoness. In agonizing pain, her eyes bulged out and her limbs perspired. She fell to the ground with a terrifying sound and died. With her body, many trees also fell. Seeing this, one of the Gopas said, "Oh, there is no chance that the child could have survived." When everyone, including Yashoda and Rohini, reached there, to their surprise, they saw the Lord Krishna sitting on the fallen Putana's shoulder and playing merrily. They took the baby from there. After bathing the boy in the Yamuna river and in milk to cure any maladies afflicted by Putana, the Sri Krishna Kavacham was recited. Then Yashoda breastfed her son. Yashoda also gave many gifts to the Brahmins. By then, Nanda Gopa and other Gopas had returned from the city of Mathura. They were horrified to see Putana's dead body. After cutting up her body with axes by the shore of Yamuna, they took it far away and burned it. However, the smoke that emanated from the burning corpse was very fragrant. Thus, the Lord granted salvation to Putana. In response to Sri Bahulashwa's question, Narada explained the past life of Putana. Once, Lord Vamana entered the Yajna audience of King Mahabali. Bali's daughter Ratnamala felt great love and affection for Vamana like a son. Ratnamala desired in her heart to offer breast milk to Lord Vamana. Vamana blessed his devotee Ratnamala with an opportunity to fulfill her desire. Thus, she was born as Putana, offered breast milk to Sri Krishna, and after fulfilling her desire, attained salvation. After Lord granted salvation to Putana, the Gopikas sang Sri Krishna Kavacham to praise the Lord. Sri Krishna Kavacham recital is also included in this video. Here ends the 13th chapter of the first Kandham. Hari Om.
Sri Krishna te shirah patu Vaikuntha kanthameva hi Shvetadvipapati karnau Nasikam yajna rupadrik Nrsimho netrayukmam cha Jihvam dasharathatmajah Adharavatam tetu Naranarayana Vrishi Kapolo patu te sakshat Sanakadyam kalahare Phalam te shvetavaraho Narado bhrutalevatu Jibukam kapilah patu Dattatreya purovatu Skandho dvavrishabha patu Karo matsya prapatu te Dordandam satatam rakshe Prithuho prithula vikramaha Udaram kamada patu Nabhim dhanvantarishchate Mohini guhya desham cha Tatinte vamanovatu Prishtam parashuravascha Tavorubadarayanaha Kalo janudvayam patu Janghe buddha prapatu te Pado patu sagulfau cha Kalkir dharmapati prabhu
Hari Om. Chapter 14. The liberation of Shakadasura and Trinavarta. The conversation between Bahulashva and Narada continues. Sri Bahulashva asked, "Due to your supreme devotion, I too have become enlightened. The companionship with the Lord's great devotees is very rare. Now I have managed to attain it. O sage, will you also tell me about the divine deeds of the Lord?" Sri Narada said, "O king, as a devotee of Lord Krishna, you have asked a very good question. The association with saintly beings brings happiness and prosperity to everyone. On Krishna's birthday, Nanda Gopa invited the Gopas and Gopikas to his home. Yashoda also requested the Brahmins to perform puja rituals. After dressing the Lord in a red garment, applying black kohl to his lotus-like eyes, and adorning his hands and feet with gold ornaments, Yashoda laid him in the cradle. Engrossed in household chores and attending to guests, Yashoda was unable to hear her son's cries. On that occasion, the demon Ulkaja, sent by Kamsa, arrived there. Ulkaja had only a body made of air. Near the cradle where Sri Krishna was laid, there was a cart filled with milk, butter, and other items. Ulkaja climbed on it with force and tried to push it towards Krishna's body. However, Krishna gently kicked his foot on the cart. The cart broke into pieces. Leaving his body made of air, the demon acquired a divine form. After respectfully bowing down before Lord Hari, he ascended into a chariot pulled by many horses and went to Goloka, the abode of the Lord. Nandan and the Gopa children rushed there by hearing the sound of the cart breaking. Nandan asked the children, "How did this cart fall?" One of the children said, "When the baby cried for milk, his foot hit the cart. That's how it fell over." No one could believe their ears. Yashoda held the baby in her lap. Fearing it might be a ghostly affliction, Yashoda requested the Brahmins to perform a protective yajna as a remedy. In response to Sri Bahulashva's question, Narada described the previous history of Ulkaja. One day Ulkaja, the son of Hiranyaksha, went to the hermitage of sage Lomasha and destroyed some trees. Seeing this, the infuriated sage cursed him to become bodiless. Just as an old snake's skin sheds, the demon's body fell apart due to the curse. Feeling remorseful at this, the demon wept and fell at the sage's feet and pleaded, "O great sage, please show some mercy to me. I was unaware of your powers. Forgive me and kindly return my body to me." Moved by Ulkaja's tears, Maharshi Lomasha said, "You must wait until the end of Chakshusha Manvantara and the arrival of the Vaivasvata Manvantara. Then, in the Dwapara Yuga, you will attain liberation upon touching the Lord Hari's feet." He was reborn as the demon named Ulkaja. Then, Trinavarta's salvation was described. One day, Yashoda was fondling her child in her lap. Then, suddenly the child seemed to grow heavier. Yashoda could no longer hold her child, so she immediately placed him on the ground. Later, she got busy with household chores. At that time, the demon Trinavarta, sent by Kamsa, arrived there. After transforming into a whirlwind, Trinavarta took the child and flew into the sky. There was blinding darkness and a terrible rumbling in Gokulam. No one could see anything for some time due to the intense dust. Hearing the sound, Yashoda came and searched, but did not find her son in the yard. Panicked by this, Yashoda fell unconscious. After regaining consciousness, Yashoda cried loudly. The Gopikas also cried and searched for Yashoda's son. By that time, Trinavarta had reached outer space with Krishna, and the infant on his shoulders felt as heavy as Mount Sumeru. The demon tried to drop Krishna down, but Krishna tightened his grip around the demon's neck. Despite the demon's cries of pain, Krishna did not let go. Thus, the demon died by Krishna's hands. The effulgence emanating from his body merged into the Lord. Then the demon and Krishna fell from the sky onto a rock. The fall caused a tremor there. Seeing the demon and the Lord fallen on the rock, the Gopas ran and picked up the Lord and handed him to Yashoda. Nanda Gopan, Yashoda and the people of Gokula were overjoyed to get Krishna back unharmed. Then the learned Brahmanas arrived at the house of Nanda Gopa. Nanda and Yashoda worshipped them. Pleased with this, the Brahmanas performed rituals and other protective ceremonies for the long life of the child. As a token of gratitude, Nanda Gopa gave the Brahmins 1 lakh cows, 1 million gold coins and many clothes. After the great Brahmins left, Nanda Gopa invited other Gopas and Gopikas and honored them with food and clothing. In response to Sri Bahulashwa's question, Narada described the previous history of Trinavarta. In the land of Pandya, there was a king named Sahasraksha. He was a devotee of Lord Vishnu and was very righteous. One day, the king was enjoying himself with many women on the bank of the Narmada. On that occasion, great sage Durvasa arrived there, but the king did not honor the sage. Enraged at this, the sage cursed Sahasraksha to become a demon. Realizing his mistake, the king wept and fell at the sage's feet and begged for forgiveness. The sage then told him that he would attain liberation upon being touched by Lord Krishna. Here ends the 14th chapter of the first Khanda. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Chapter 15, Krishna's naming ceremony and past life history of Nandan and Yashoda. The conversation between Bahulashva and Narada continues. Shri Narada said, "One day, Yashoda was breastfeeding Krishna. After drinking the milk, Krishna yawned. At that moment, all the elements of the entire universe appeared in Krishna's mouth. Seeing the entire universe and all the deities present in her son's mouth, Yashoda closed her eyes in wonder and astonishment. In response to Sri Bahulashva's question, Narada described the past life history of Nandan and Yashoda. Nanda was Drona, the husband of Dhara and the best among the 8 Vasus. He was a great devotee of Lord Vishnu and ruled a kingdom in the realm of the gods. For the attainment of a child, Dhara and Drona went to Mount Mandara to perform austerities. They first began their austerity by consuming fruits and leaves. After that, they continued with increased severity without even drinking water. Pleased with this, Lord Brahma appeared before them and blessed them with a boon. After they bowed to Lord Brahma, Drona said, "O Lord Brahma, let the Supreme Lord Krishna be our son. May we always have love and devotion towards the Lord. We desire nothing else. Lord Brahma blessed that their desire will be fulfilled in the next birth. Thus, Drona was born as Nanda and Dhara as Yashoda. To fulfill Brahma's words, Lord Krishna arrived in Vrindavan from Mathura. In response to another question from Sri Bahulashva, Narada described the childhood pastimes of Balarama and Krishna. One day, at the request of Vasudeva, the great sage Garga Muni, along with his disciples, came to Nandagopa's house. After offering gifts to the Maharshi, Nandagopa circumambulated and bowed in reverence. After hosting them, Nandagopa requested Garga Muni to conduct the naming ceremony of his son. Following that, Garga Muni took Nandagopa, Yashoda and the two boys to a secluded place in the cowshed. There, he performed the naming ceremony. After worshipping the deities, including Ganesha and Navagraha deities, Maharshi Garga Muni said, "Listen to the explanation of Rohini's son's name. He is called Rama because the yogis delight in him. Also, he is known as Shankarshana because he was contracted or Sankarshana in the womb. Also, he is known as Shesha because he remains even after the destruction of the universe. He is extremely strong, so everyone will call him as Balarama." Then the Maharshi conducted the naming ceremony of Yashoda's son. His name at once purifies the living entities. His name is the auspiciousness of all the universes. In his name, the letter Ka stands for Kamalakanta, which illustrates the husband of the goddess of fortune. Ra stands for Rama, which is the supreme enjoyer. Sa stands for Sadgunapati, which is the master of 6 opulences, or Shvetadvipan Nivasakrit, who is the Lord who resides in Shvetadvipa. Na stands for Lord Narasimha. A stands for Akshara, which is the immortal, or Agnibhuk, who is the Lord who enjoys the offerings of Agnihotra Yagyas. The letter Ha stands for Nara and Narayana Rishi. In this way, these 6 letters combine to become the name of the Supreme Person. In the Sanskrit alphabets, the letter Ha is represented by a colon. The 2 dots or a colon stands for the 2 sages Nara Narayana. In this way, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is known as Krishna. At the end of the Dwapara Yuga and the beginning of the Kali Yuga, Krishna will be of dark complexion. That is why Yashoda's son was named as Krishna, since the word Vasu means the senses and the word Deva means the heart, and because he acts in the hearts and the senses of the souls, he is also known as Vasudeva. This child will marry Radha, who is the daughter of Vrishabhanu and Kirti. Therefore, he is also known as Radhapati. He has incarnated to destroy demons like Kamsa and to protect the devotees. Sage Garga added that this child as your son is a great virtue. Then Garga Muni left from there. After hearing these words of Sage Garga, Nanda and Yashoda felt very grateful. Afterwards, Garga Muni went to the beautiful palace of King Vrishabhanu on the banks of the Yamuna. Vrishabhanu welcomed and honored him. Vrishabhanu said, "The sight of sages brings peace to householders. It is a sage who removes the darkness in the hearts of human beings. O sage, my daughter's name is Radhika. Whom should I marry her to? Could you please help me?" Holding Vrishabhanu's hand, the great sage Garga Muni went to a beautiful and secluded place on the Yamuna shore. After both of them sat down on the shore, Shri Garga Muni spoke. "The one residing at Nanda's home in Golokakhanda is none other than Shri Krishna himself. Your daughter is none other than the goddess Radha Devi herself." Hearing this, he was filled with immense joy. Subsequently, Vrishabhanu requested Sage Garga to conduct the marriage of his daughter with Lord Shri Krishna. However, the sage informed that the marriage will be conducted by Lord Brahma himself. Afterwards, the sage explained to Vrishabhanu the true nature of Radha. He also mentioned that the Gopikas, who were Radha's friends, have come to earth from Goloka. The sage clarified that in the word Radha, Ra stands for Rama, who is the goddess of fortune. A stands for Adi Gopika, who is the first of the Gopikas. Dha stands for Dhara, which is the earth, and A stands for Viraja river. Garga Maharshi also said that those who always chant the name Radha Krishna will be able to attain dharma, that is righteousness, artha, that is wealth, kama, that is desire, and moksha, that is liberation. And then he went back to his own abode. Here ends the 15th chapter of the first canto. Hari Om. Hari Om. Chapter 16. Description of Shri Radhika's wedding. The conversation between Bahulashva and Narada continues. Shri Narada said, "One day, Nanda carried his infant on his shoulder and went to Bhandirvana to herd the cows. In accordance with the Lord's wish, a very strong wind began to blow. The sky was soon covered with clouds, and darkness spread everywhere. Nanda's son began to cry. Feeling scared, Nanda, holding Lord Krishna in his lap, sought refuge in Lord Hari, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. At that moment, as the brilliance of 1,000,000 suns poured forth, Vrishabhanu's daughter, Goddess Radha, approached Nanda. Dressed in blue garments, adorned with unique ornaments like armlets, bangles, a gem-studded necklace, a nose ring, and a chudamani on her forehead, Goddess Radha appeared before Nanda. Seeing this, Nandagopa folded his hands and said, "O Radha, I have come to know from Garga Muni that this infant is indeed the Supreme Being, and that you are the beloved of this Supreme Person." Nandagopa asked Radha to take Shri Krishna from his hands. Thus, Radha took her beloved Lord into her arms with both hands. With this, Nanda bowed to Radha and left from there. Radha, carrying the infant Shri Krishna, went to Bhandirvana. The land sent from Golokakhanda assumed divine form for Radha's happiness. The trees blossomed and swayed. The Govardhan mountain was resplendent with streams and caves. The sweetness of the spring season was fully evident there. Peacocks, cuckoos, etc. danced and sang. There was a beautiful lake where golden lotuses bloomed and bees drank nectar from them. On the banks of the Yamuna river, jewel-studded steps appeared. Having transitioned from his infant form to his youthful form, Lord Krishna stood before Radha, clad in yellow garments, radiating the aura of the Kaustubha gem, adorned with all ornaments. The Lord smiled and held the hand of his beloved Radha, and together they entered the wedding pavilion, where all the necessary items for the marriage were already prepared. A splendid throne appeared there. Radha and Krishna sat on the throne while engaging in sweet conversations. Just then, the Lord Brahma arrived there. After bowing down to Radha and Krishna, he spoke in a pleasing voice. Lord, your divine plays, your leelas are endless. Radha Devi partakes in playful pastimes with you in the eternal abode. When you become Vishnu, Radha becomes Lakshmi. Similarly, alongside your incarnation as Sri Rama, Radha becomes Sita, the daughter of Janaka. Whatever avatar you take, Radha is present like your own shadow. Brahma then said, in order to guide the world on the righteous path in accordance with worldly affairs, I shall conduct this wedding as per the marital rites. After offering his salutations, Lord Brahma ignited the fire in the sacrificial pit, that is, the Havan Kund. Thus, in the presence of the sacred fire as witness, Brahma conducted the ritual of hand-holding, which is known as Pani Grahanam for Radha and Krishna. Following this, Brahma made the newlyweds circumambulate the fire pit and also had them loudly recite the marriage mantras. Subsequently, Radha adorned Krishna's neck with a beautiful lotus garland, and Krishna adorned Radha's neck with a lotus garland as well. Thereafter, they were made to pay homage to the fire, and the newlywed couple was seated on the beautiful throne. Brahma taught them 5 mantras, and like a father entrusting his daughter, handed over Radha to Krishna. At that time, the deities showered flowers, and along with the celestial maidens, the Vidyadharas danced. The Gandharvas, Vidyadharas, Charanas and Kinnaras sang auspicious songs. They made joyous sounds using musical instruments like the mridangam, veena, conch, etc. The Apsaras danced gracefully. Then Lord Krishna requested Brahma to ask an offering as dakshina. In response, Brahma said, Lord, may the devotion of your lotus feet be granted to me in the form of dakshina. So be it, Krishna blessed. Having thus conducted the divine Radha-Krishna marriage, Brahma bowed to both of them and returned to Brahmaloka, which is the abode of Brahma. Radha and Krishna shared and savored the sweetness of each other's company. They engaged in sweet conversations and revelled on the banks of the Yamuna river. They were absorbed in numerous pastimes filled with the essence of romantic love. Later, they entered the waters of the Yamuna river for water play and then proceeded to immerse themselves in playful activities in the Bhandirvan forest. Suddenly, Krishna transformed into the same form that Nanda had handed Krishna over to Radha, an infant lying on the ground, and he began to cry out of fear. Seeing this, Radha wept and said, "Hare, why are you casting illusions on me?" Thus, as Radha was in a state of panic, an ethereal voice was heard from the sky to pacify her. "Radhe, do not worry now. Your desires will be fulfilled in a few days." Hearing this, Radha, reassured, took the child and went to Yashoda's house and handed the child over to Yashoda. Yashoda praised Radha for saving her son in the forest when darkness enveloped there. Pleased with this, Radha took leave and went back to her own home. Sage Narada continued, "King, thus I have narrated the supremely auspicious history of the marriage of Sri Radha Krishna. Those who hear, learn, and teach this will never be touched by sin." Here ends the 16th chapter of the first canto. Hari Om. Hari Om. Chapter 17. The childhood pastimes of Shri Krishna. The conversation between Bahulashva and Narada continues. Shri Narada said, Balarama and Shri Krishna are engaged in various childhood pastimes. They walked around crouching and making the delightful sound of their ankle bells heard as they moved. Shri Krishna, along with other kids, used to roll and play in the courtyard. Seeing this, Yashoda lovingly wiped him clean and held her little Krishna in her lap with great affection. The Gopikas immensely enjoyed watching the beautiful and graceful games played by little Krishna. They would always arrive at Nanda's house to see this. Then, a Gopika who came there said to Yashoda thus, "Your lovely son shows great impishness in his play. Little Krishna's childhood pastimes are extremely enchanting. Therefore, to prevent anyone's evil eye from falling on this child, do not let the boy out of the courtyard. Since the child has only 2 front teeth in his mouth, it is inauspicious for the child's uncle. Hey Yashoda, even if the child has no uncles, you must perform charitable acts and rituals for the removal of obstacles. Along with that, puja must also be performed for cows, Brahmins and gods. After that, for the prosperity of their sons, Yashoda and Rohini used to donate food, clothes and jewels as charity. A few months later, Balarama and Krishna, who had been crouching and walking, began to walk on a stilt. Along with Shridama, Subala, and other boys, they were playing, rolling on the ground by the banks of river Yamuna. Little Krishna and his friends used to enter houses, steal butter and curd, and eat them. One day, Prabhavati, who is the wife of Upananda, went to Yashoda and complained, "Yashoda, there is no difference between butter, ghee, milk, curd, and buttermilk in our houses. We have never seen them as mine or yours until now. We have always considered everything as ours. But your little darling is stealing butter kept in the house." Once, when I tried to make Krishna understand, he mocked me and ran away from the courtyard. "O Yashode, what your child did was wrong. But considering you, I have forgiven him this time." Hearing these words from Prabhavati, Yashoda scolded Krishna. Yashoda told Prabhavati that if this is repeated again and you caught him red-handed, then please bring him here. I will give him a fitting punishment. After hearing Yashoda's words, Prabhavati went back home contentedly. A few days later, Krishna and his friends went to Prabhavati's house to steal curd. Since the pot of curd was hung up high, they could not reach it. Then Krishna took a stick and hit the pot. As a result, all the curd fell to the ground. Krishna and the cowherd boys ate their fill. When Prabhavati came there, due to hearing the sound of breaking the curd pot, all the cowherd boys except Krishna ran away. When Krishna also tried to run, Prabhavati caught him by his hand. Krishna got scared and started shedding fake tears. Prabhavati took Krishna by holding the hand and went to Yashoda's house. There, Nandagopa was standing in front of the house. Then Prabhavati let go of Krishna's hand and covered her face with the end of her sari. At that time, Krishna took the form of Prabhavati's son, using his magical power, and no one noticed it. Prabhavati approached Yashoda and said, "Your son broke my curd pot and stole all the curd." Yashoda, with a smile of amusement, looked at Prabhavati's son and said, "Isn't this your own son? First look at the child before accusing my son. If you accuse someone of a crime they did not commit, you will have to leave this town. Are you trying to impose your son's fault on my child?" Surprised, Prabhavati looked at her son and thought to herself, "You wretch, how did you get here? Where did the mischievous Krishna go who was with me?" Muttering to herself, Prabhavati went home with her son. On their way back to Prabhavati's house, Shri Krishna reverted from the form of Prabhavati's son to his own form and said to Prabhavati, "If you ever catch me again, I will take the form of your husband." Hearing this, Prabhavati went back to her house in astonishment. From that day on, none of the Gopikas dared to catch Krishna. Here ends the 17th chapter of the first canto. Hari Om. Hari Om. Chapter 18, Vision of the Universal Form. The conversation between Bahulashva and Narada continues. Shri Narada said, "The 9 Upanandas would take Lord Krishna to their own home, where they would enjoy seeing the beauty of the Lord's form and his divine play. They gave him toys, caressed him, and cherished his presence, becoming immersed in joy. In response to Bahulashva's question, Narada described the names of the Upanandas and their previous births. Along with this, he also explained the deeds of the 6 Vrishabhanus. The 9 Nandanas are Gayan, Vimalan, Shrishan, Sridharan, Mangalan, Mangalayanan, Rangavalleshan, Rangoji, and Devanayakan. The Nandanas were cowherds standing holding a staff in their hand at the entrance of Lord Krishna's grove in Gokuldham. The Upanandanas are Vetihotran, Agnibhuk, Samban, Shrikaran, Gopati, Shrutan, Vrajeshan, Pavanan, and Shantan. The Upanandanas were cowherds tending to the many cows in the grove, walking with peacock feather in their hair and flute in their hands. The 6 Vrishabhanus are Nitivitan, Margadan, Shuklan, Patangan, Divyavahanan, and Gopestan. The Vrishabhanus were cowherds stationed at the 6 gates of the Nikunja fortress, armed with staffs and nooses to protect it. They received a fortune that even Brahma himself could not attain. One day, Lord Krishna ate mud on the banks of the Yamuna. The children saw this and told Yashoda, "Oh mother, your son is eating soil." Balrama was also with them. So Yashoda took Krishna's hand. Krishna was scared. Seeing this, Yashoda said, "Krishna, why are you eating soil?" In response, Krishna said, "All these children are lying. I haven't eaten any soil. If mother has any doubts, you can look into my mouth." And saying thus, Krishna opened his mouth and showed it to Yashoda. Yashoda saw countless universes inside Krishna's mouth. Within the universe, she saw 7 oceans, 7 islands, 3 worlds. Along with the entire Vrajmandal, Yashoda even saw herself. Yashoda realized that her son was indeed Lord Hari himself. Thus Yashoda became enlightened. Then the Lord gently smiled, and suddenly Yashoda forgot everything. Thus, everything Yashoda had seen in Krishna's mouth vanished into oblivion. Here ends the 18th chapter of the first canto. Hari Om. Hari Om. Chapter 19. Breaking of the 2 Arjuna trees. The conversation between Bahulashva and Narada continues. Sri Narada said, "One day, Yashoda was churning curd in the morning. Knowing this, Krishna asked for fresh butter, but Yashoda did not give butter to Krishna. Then Krishna took a stone and broke the pot of curd and ran away from there. Yashoda ran after Krishna to catch him. Even after much effort, Yashoda could not catch Krishna. Eventually, moved by compassion, Krishna allowed Yashoda to catch him. Out of anger, Yashoda decided to tie Krishna to a grinding stone. Every rope brought to tie Krishna turned out to be too short, no matter how many pieces were added together. Despite adding more and more lengths of rope, it was still not enough. Finally, when Yashoda gave up the effort, Lord Krishna, moved by her perseverance, allowed himself to be tied. This kind of grace of the Lord is not granted even to the enlightened sages who have renounced karma. Needless to say, those who are attached to karma or actions can never experience it. It is due to the influence of devotion that he stood bound by his mother's ties. Thus, while those who pursue knowledge may attain liberation, but they are not bestowed devotion. By then, the Gopikas arrived there. After knowing what had happened there, the Gopikas said to Yashoda, "O Yashoda, Krishna came to our homes and may have broken the pots of curd, but we have never done any harm to him." When the Gopikas said thus, Yashoda did not respond and engaged in household chores. In the meantime, Krishna and the other cowherd boys together dragged the grinding stone to the bank of the Yamuna. On the river bank, there stood two very ancient twin Arjuna trees. The Lord walked forward and pulling the grinding stone between the two trees. Although the stone got stuck between the trees, but Krishna smiled and continued to pull the stone. As he pulled, the two trees were uprooted and fell to the ground. The trees fell to the ground with a tremendous noise. Just as fire emerges from wood through friction, two celestial beings emerged from the trees. After paying their respects to the Lord, the divine beings spoke with folded hands. "By your divine intervention, we have been liberated. Never again will we insult your devotees. You are indeed an ocean of mercy." After praising and worshipping the Lord, the two celestial princes departed through the sky in the northern direction. Nandan and the other Gopas reached there, having heard the terrible sound. They asked the other cowherd children, "How did these two trees fall to the ground without any wind or any rain?" One of the cowherd boys said, "It was Krishna himself who felled these two trees." Two people emerged from the trees, and after offering obeisance to Krishna, they departed through the sky in the northern direction. No one believed the boy's words. Nandagopa freed Krishna from the grinding stone and lifted him onto his shoulder with affection and kissed him. He even scolded Yashoda, also donated many cows to the Brahmins. In response to Bahulashva's question, Sage Narada explained who were those divine beings and narrated their previous histories and how they became the Arjuna trees. They were the two young sons of Kubera, named Nala Kubera and Manigriva. One day, they went to the Nandan forest. As they walked along the banks of the Mandakini there, Apsaras appeared and praised their virtues. Then the princes consumed a lot of alcohol, they became intoxicated and frolicked there without clothes. They also had the arrogance about their wealth. At that time, the sage Devala, who is a scholar of the Vedas, happened to see them. The princes continued to indulge in their activities without paying any heed to the great sage. Maharshi Devala cursed the arrogant brothers to turn into trees on the banks of the Yamuna for 100 divine years. The sage added that at the end of the 100 years, they would have the fortune to see Lord Krishna at the end of the Dwapar Yuga. After the Lord freed them from their curse, they would attain the form from their previous birth. Thus, Lord Krishna liberated Nalakubera and Manigriva, who had become trees due to the curse of Sage Devala. Here ends the chapter 19 of the first canto. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Chapter 20. Sage Durvasa falls under the illusion of Lord Krishna. The conversation between Bahulashva and Narada continues. Sri Narada said, "One day, the revered sage Durvasa went to Vrindavan to see Lord Krishna. He found Krishna on the banks of the river Kalinti. Krishna was rolling in the dirt and playing with other children. Seeing Krishna covered in dust and running around with children, Sage Durvasa was greatly astonished. Durvasa thought to himself, "Isn't this just an ordinary boy? If Krishna is indeed the Lord, why is he rolling in the dirt with other children?" At that moment, Krishna ran and sat on the lap of the sage. After a short while, he ran away from the sage's lap. Again, the playful Krishna went to Durvasa by smiling and uttering sweet words. Suddenly, Durvasa turned into dust and entered inside the mouth of the laughing Krishna. When he entered, the sage saw an immensely vast world. Within this world, he reached a large forest, and then a giant serpent swallowed him. Once inside the serpent's stomach, the sage was able to see the entire universe. Traveling through it, he finally arrived at the top of a white mountain. On the top of the mountain, Durvasa performed penance for many years to worship the Lord. While the sage was engaged in penance, a great flood occurred and the strong currents of water swept him away. No matter where he looked, the sage could not find any land. Thus, many years passed. During this time, Durvasa lost his memory. Even after regaining memory, he continued to drift in the water. Then suddenly, another universe appeared in front of him. With Krishna in his mind, the sage entered this universe. Then he was able to see the great Viraja river. As the sage crossed the Viraja river, he was able to see Vrindavan and Govardhan. Durvasa's heart was filled with great joy when he looked at them. Finally, he saw in a grove, resplendent like countless suns, the divine Sri Krishna, who is the beloved of Radha, surrounded by numerous gopikas, gopas and calves. Seeing the sage, Krishna smiled. Through that smile, the sage came out of the mouth of the Lord. The sage was able to see the same Krishna playing on the banks of the Yamuna with his body covered in dust. The sage then realized that he was indeed seeing the Lord who resides in Vaikuntha. After bowing and paying his respects to Lord Krishna, the sage Durvasa praised him with folded hands. Having paid his obeisances, Durvasa then went to Badari ashram to meditate. Garga Muni told Shaunaka Maharshi that the stories of the Lord's childhood were narrated to Bahulashva by sage Narada. In response to Bahulashva's inquiry about the various marvelous deeds of Krishna, Narada promised to describe them all one after another. Narada added that the stories Lord Krishna told Radha were narrated to him by Radha Devi herself. This section, called Golokakhanda, holds great significance. Narada explained that by studying it, Brahmins will gain scientific knowledge, Kshatriyas will obtain valor, Vaishyas will dominate wealth, and Shudras will achieve liberation from the material world. Narada added that anyone who studies it with devotion can reach the abode of the Lord, Golokakhanda. Here ends the 20th chapter of the first canto. The part where sage Durvasa praised Lord Krishna is included here.
ബാലം നവീനശതപത്രവിശാലനേത്രം ബിംബാധരം സഗനമേഘരുചിം മനോജ്ഞം മന്ദസ്മിതം മധുരസുന്ദരമന്ദയാനം ശ്രീനന്ദനന്ദനമഹം മനസാ നമാമി. മഞ്ജീരനൂപുരരണന്നവരത്നകാഞ്ചി ശ്രീഹാരകേസരിനഖപ്രതിയന്ത്രസംഖം ദൃഷ്ട്വാർത്തിഹാരിമപി ബിന്ദുവിരാജമാനം വന്ദേ കലിന്ദതനുജാതടബാലകേലിം പൂർണേന്ദുസുന്ദരമുഖോപരി കുഞ്ചിതാംഗ്ര കേശാനവീനഘനനീലനിഭാസ്ഫുരന്ത രാജന്ത ആനദശിരക്കുതുകസ്യ യസ്യ നന്ദാത്മജായ സബലായ നമോ നമസ്തേ. ശ്രീനന്ദനന്ദനസ്തോത്രം പ്രാതരുദ്ധായ യഃ പഠേത് തന്നേത്രഗോചരോ യാതി സാനന്ദം നന്ദനന്ദനം.
The Golokakhanda is concluded. Hari Om. If you like our content, please subscribe to our channel. We have an ebook version of Garga Samhita stories available on Amazon. Link is provided in the description box.